Welcome back to Walk-Ins. Welcome. You got Michael here today. Nick's doing some other things right now, but it is summertime and we wanted to kind of mix things up a little bit. You heard about Hal recently. Now you get to hear about Janie, and once again, our Meet the Pros series. Janie's been on our team for a couple of years now, and we were just joking. Her title has changed a few times over time. She started as an intern, which is super cool. We actually haven't done interns in a minute now that I think about it. Yeah. So started as an intern, moved over to the marketing side, internal marketing side. You were part of social media, some other things at the beginning, but then you kind of moved over. But here you are now, a couple of years in. You actually edit the podcast. So if you have complaints about the podcast, this is the lady to talk to, actually. So if you want to complain, don't complain to Hannah, complain to Janie. And there you go. But no, Janie, tell everybody one thing about you that nobody knows.
Nobody knows. That's a really difficult thing. I mean, no one listening to this podcast is going to know this, but I'm scuba certified. So my dad and I are going to be going on a trip this year to Egypt for a week. No cell service or anything. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, I'm scuba certified and I can scuba dive at night. I've seen a shark before.
You're kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, not like mentally.
So you seen a shark? What kind of shark was it?
It was just a little reef shark. I don't believe it was an aggressive kind because I'm here on the podcast today. So
yeah, you survived.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, and that, the funny part with you, we were actually putting up this map the other day on our wall to kind of help visualize where our patients, but our clients are from. And you talk about Guam and stuff. So kind of tell me a little bit of your background, because you have a very non-traditional background. I'm actually kind of shocked that we were able to pick you up as an employee, because I feel like you would have gone somewhere else physically.
Like I have wanderlust. I just keep going and traveling.
Yes.
So my dad was in the U.S. Air Force for a while. He recently retired and now he's a pilot for Delta. So love Delta. Cool. Yeah, very cool. He brings the Biscoff cookies home. I appreciate that. But yeah, I grew up my entire life moving every 2 to 3 years. And like Michael mentioned, Guam is one of the places I live. That's actually where I saw the shark. And
okay.
Yeah, and that's why I got scuba certified, because we tried to really take advantage of whatever hobbies were around whatever state or U.S. territory that we lived in at the moment. So yeah, it has made me flexible as a person who is very type A and like wants to be organized. It's kind of forced me to be outside of that, but I'm very grateful. I think it's given me a like open-minded perspective on a lot of things. So
absolutely. And you mentioned just now type A personality. We joke you're such an interesting person because we hired you for creative, but you also have a type A personality, and you want things to just cross the finish line. And for a creative to want that is different. Like we don't hear about that very often. How do you deal with that little back and forth?
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, we joke in my household that like it's the mix of my dad's logical, like mathematical brain and my mom's artsy fartsiness. And so, right.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah, no, they're both good at their respective hobbies and interests, but I think that's what led me to go to school for graphic design initially, is because it felt like the most structured form of art. And that's kind of why I like doing social media and stuff here. Yeah, because it's creativity, but on a deadline. So ultimately, I have a linear movement that I can kind of follow.
Creativity on a deadline.
That's what I like. So
you're weird.
Yeah, not many like that. Yeah.
Not many creatives like a deadline, but we also recognize that you can be your most creative when you're put into a box and you know where your boundaries are. And so like in your sense, like the deadline is a boundary, and like I got to make that boundary happen. So very cool. Yep. All right. So you've been in with us for a while. You've seen us kind of transition as an agency from the generalist side to the urgent care side of things. You're actually holding one of our slap koozies we give urgent cares, which is pretty cool. So if you're watching the video, you can see the promo right there. But so you've seen that happen, and like your role has changed as well. You actually work now underneath Hannah, which is super cool, because Hannah needed help. And I think you feel it too, right? Because she keeps you busy.
She does. It's really funny. I'll introduce her. I'll be like, this is my boss. And she's like, don't say that, Janie.
Yeah, she doesn't like being called boss. She may one day, but not right now.
That's why I say it, though.
But anyway, so you've seen the transition from like the general side to the urgent care side. Your observations. So looking at the urgent care side of things, you're a creative, right? what are some like trends that you've seen over the years in urgent care on the creative side, or
Mm.
maybe there's something maybe they kind of miss that they should do more of from an urgent care standpoint, like urgent care and creative side? Because for me, most urgent cares aren't creative, right? It's very, we joke, if you, all you need to have a brand or to have anything in urgent care, you just need a big old sign that says urgent care that's probably in white or red letters with a cross right beside it, and that's all you need from a visual standpoint. Like and let's be real, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does work, but from your perspective, you're the creative side. You get to interact with these clients on a regular basis from like a social media standpoint. What's the reality of some of this?
Right. Well, I think bouncing back and forth between doing the marketer clients and doing the urgent care clients, a kind of common thread that I've noticed is like people are really looking for authentic content. And it's great that we are able to offer stability, because I mean, ultimately, it's much better that you post something, period, than post nothing, because it shows that you're alive.
Yeah, you haven't, when you come across that social account that has been posted in 4 years,
Right.
well, they're probably closed.
Right. But I think sometimes people forget, like, you're a consumer of content. So think about what you like to consume and make that like for the industry you're in. Like these urgent cares, I would love to see an urgent care be silly goofy on TikTok. And that's not something we can like necessarily directly help them with. But like,
we haven't had a client yet that says I want this.
Right. But like, if you think it's funny and personable, then your audience and potential patients are probably going to think it's funny and personal as well. So just not being afraid of trying something new, because if you have the passion, then other people probably will as well.
Real quick, Michael here. Your competitors are not beating you medically. They're beating you because there are more patients that can see them. Their visibility is better. They find them quicker. When they do a search, they're showing up and you're not. Patient Care Market Pros, we can help you with that, because once we increase your visibility, your patient volume goes up, so you can get to that next level for your clinic, be it adding more clinics or just making more money. We're here to help you with that. Love to help. Patient Care Market Pros, we're all about bringing more patients to your door. We can talk soon.
So
yeah, I've noticed there's this reality of we're all very similar, and we all tend to think a lot alike, even though some social medias will say that we think very differently. But this is so stupid. I saw a TikTok video the other day, and it was, the guy was holding like a Walmart shopping cart buggy, and he was sitting there, and you've seen this, on the buggy is a little thing that was spinning, like a little metal clamp almost. And he highlighted, like, what does this do? Blah, 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 blah. And then somebody posted, here I thought I had an original thought somewhere, but apparently I don't. No. And so that's what we're trying to get at. It's like, if you think it's funny, it's okay to put it out there. I mean, maybe you need to ask a couple of coworkers, but if you think it's funny, it's funny, go for it.
Definitely vet some people before you just do whatever.
I don't know. You give us mystery TikToks. You're like, here, just answer this question. Like, okay.
Well, sometimes like I need that for the plot. It's not as funny if I don't get a reaction. If y'all are in on it, I'm not going to get a good reaction. Yeah. But yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So for those urgent cares that are doing their own social media and all those different things, and they're stuck, like I don't know what to do to post out there that's not about my hours or when we're opening and closing or about flu season. What's your process? Like, I need to come up with a new idea that's creative. Do you have a process that you go through that helps find that? Like the videos that you have us record, you don't just see one trend, say, I don't want to do it. It's more, you probably have like a thought process through that. What is that?
Right. I mean, well, for us personally, anytime I'm given a trend, and everyone here is really helpful, and whenever they see something funny, they let me know it's funny and they want to do that. And I appreciate the passion. But I also think, well, like, how can I translate this to make sense for our industry? Yep. And so sometimes there isn't a translation. Like Nick sent one the other day that was really funny that some cops did, and they were kind of making a joke about the parallels between cops and then like going on a date. Like, oh, we'll open the door for you, and it's opening a cop car. And that's really funny, but it doesn't necessarily like translate directly. And so I think sometimes it has been knowing like, yes, that can fit within our niche and be funny and not lose the appeal or the trend. But other times, like maybe it doesn't work for us, and that's okay. And we can skip out on that. So.
Okay. What's been your most favorite trend recently?
I have liked there's been a trend of like interviewing everybody in general. I love impromptu, goofy TikTok interview. We most recently did the interview chain one, which it wasn't as funny as it could have been. So we got to be more creative. But I do like hearing everybody speak within a workplace and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very good. All right. So we understand your brain a little bit better. What is probably, if you were going to have like an ideal urgent care client, and you're doing social media for them, or maybe you're doing video, right? Because you do a lot of video now. What are some things that you want out of an ideal urgent care client? And not just like who they are, but how they communicate and what they're giving you.
Right.
Like, what are some ideal things? So we talk about all the time, like, hey, if they can provide, like I had Hal come on and we talked about some of there are things of ideal clients, like if they had a certain type of budget and they communicated back and forth about what's working and what's not, like those are really good things. So in your world, what would that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the obvious would be consistent branding and a logo and a color scheme, because that kind of thing would be applied to their social media. I think communication-wise, an important thing that sometimes is misunderstood is like your social media feed is not advertising. And sometimes I do get requests for posts that do feel along the same lines as an ad. And that's something that I think like...
That's interesting.
Right, it is. And I think it just occurs because people will think like, oh, I want people to know that we offer this service. But I mean, if you are the consumer of this and you're following this page and you see this messaging all the time, like, would you want to see that?
Right.
And I think that's something people forget about, because there is this anxiety about like getting the knowledge out there about what you offer as a clinic. So yeah, I think maybe be more flexible to promoting what services you want to promote in different ways or formats. Like maybe I could make an educational graphic that kind of informs the person why getting this service is good for them.
Yeah.
Kind of so
it's interesting. So help the audience understand, because I do hear this a lot. What is, if you were going to like do some black and white for me, the true difference between what a social post should be and what a social ad should be?
Right. So to me, like, and I occasionally will fill in for ad graphics when Alyssa's on vacation, but that is her niche. So I'm sure that will be talked about in a later episode.
Yeah, I need to get her on.
Right. But a graphic is very like CTA focused. You're trying to get someone to click for the specific thing. And so there's a lot of text on there, and it feels like it's yelling at you sometimes, to be honest, but it's very attention grabby. And then the social posts, in my opinion, it's more informative. It's kind of letting you know about the atmosphere of the place and like their general foundations, but they're not necessarily saying like, oh, you got to come in because we have a deal on this service, which is what is happening with the ad graphics. We will do social posts, like if a new location has opened, then we promote that, of course, because if you saw it on an ad but didn't see it on the feed, there would be an inconsistency and maybe some mistrust. But yeah, I think generally it's just there's less text, but it's just the tone feels less pushy, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Well, very good. Well, I know we're kind of getting toward the end of the interview now, but I'm still so fascinated with your background. How many different countries or places did you live growing up? Just to kind of, I'm just curious.
I gotta put them out there to like remember it and count correctly. I've only lived within the U.S. Guam is a U.S. territory, so still technically within the U.S., but I lived South Carolina, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Alabama, but in like 3 different places in Alabama. But we count that as one.
Yeah.
Did I say California?
No.
California and Guam.
What's your favorite?
That's a really tough question. As a kid, it was fun to live in California because I didn't have to worry about the cost of anything.
That's not what normal Californians say.
Yeah, I mean, Monterey, California is really pretty. The weather was always like, I don't know, 65 degrees.
Perfect.
There were sea otters. You could bike everywhere. That's why I love Trader Joe's. They're not a sponsor. We can bleep that out. But because when you grow up with a grocery store, then you're gonna be like, oh yes, this nostalgia.
Of course we got now a Trader Joe's in
we
the
do
area.
So that's why I love it though. But I liked that. Least favorite, no shade to Oklahoma, but okay, it's flat out there.
You know, we have some Oklahoma clients,
and it's really important what they do.
There's tornadoes.
It's important. Hey, I like the people there. I went to a couple rodeos. It's a good time in there.
So
It's
is
just not for
Oklahoma
me.
like the flat version of Alabama?
No, it's different. It's different. It's good though. There were a lot of cute cows during the winter. I got to see those. That's a perk.
So we're talking about
we're talking about
the
Altus,
animals.
Oklahoma. If the urgent cares out there are familiar, not Altus, but Altus.
Altus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like saying I'm near Helena, Alabama, not Helena, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's so funny. All right. So we know that don't think about Oklahoma. California's a cool place. You've been to Guam, which is good. Well, cool. Well, and then you landed in Montevallo, and we picked you up, and here you are.
Yes, I did attend that university. Shout out to Montevallo.
Shout out to Montevallo Falcon.
Yes.
Yep. Go Falcons.
They say, well, they don't say go Falcons. They say Falcon up.
Should we bleep this out? I don't think we should. There's nothing wrong with that.
Anyways, go Falcons.
I did not know that my wife's from went to Montevallo.
It might be a new thing.
It might be. I say no. You've been gone for a couple of years now, so
yeah. Go home and tell her that.
All right. Well, on that lovely ending there, Janie, thank you for coming on and extending the Meet the Pros series. I know our listeners will appreciate this, and also too, if you want to go, interact with us, like Janie is part of the email system as well. So hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com. We all see those emails that come through. If you got questions for Janie, especially on the social media side, happy to answer them for sure. All right. Any other closing thoughts before we hop out?
No, I think it was a very well-rounded interview.
Thank
you for having me.
Especially with the ending of the Falcon.
We can believe it.
There you go. All right.